Hello, I'm Russell from fluentforlife.com. I am a so-called polyglot, so I speak several languages. I speak French, English, Dutch, German, Spanish, and Portuguese, and I am an online teacher. And what happens now? A lot of my students, they always come and ask me like, Russell, how did you do it? How did you learn multiple languages at the same time? Is it possible? Can I learn multiple languages with you? And I always say, well, that depends. And in this video, I'm going to explain how you could learn multiple languages at the same time. I'm going to give you 5 tips over the course of this video. Let's start with number 1. So, number 1, you want to learn different languages, yeah? And what does this different actually mean? Well, you want to learn languages that are from different language families. I am learning Russian and Portuguese at the same time. Russian is a Slavic language and Portuguese is a Romance language. And well, these are from different families. They don't have a lot of overlap, so it's easy to combine them in a study routine, right? Other examples are learning English and Spanish at the same time, or Spanish and German, Spanish and Dutch, Russian and English. Russian, you can almost combine it with any other European language. As for Mandarin Chinese, for example, which is also very different from all the other Romance or Germanic languages. And then a lot of students ask me, but Russell, I already know a little bit of French, so couldn't I combine it with Spanish because I really like these 2 languages? And I'm like, yes, of course you could. And that brings me to tip number 2, which is learn 2 languages where you have a different level in. So if you already know a little bit of Italian, well, I don't know, grab Mandarin Chinese with that. You could start Mandarin Chinese as a beginner, and you could really build on your current knowledge of Italian. Me as an example, I already knew a little bit of Portuguese, so I was already like a false beginner when I started it, and now I'm like intermediate already. And Russian, I was a complete beginner, although I'm becoming a false beginner already, which is отлично, right? So if you want to learn French and Spanish at the same time, make sure that your level in French is already intermediate at least, to not cause a lot of confusion with both languages, right? Still, I don't think it's a good idea to learn intermediate French and beginner Spanish at the same time, but you know, you can always try it, and you can always apply one of the following tips for that kind of learning journey. So the third tip that I want to give you is you want to create different identities for both languages that you're learning, and not only identities in your mind, because what happens, there is this neuroplasticity in your brain. So when you're learning 2 new languages at the same time at a beginner's level, what happens is that everything is still kind of plastic and still finding a sort of root into your brain. So what happens is that you will have a lot of confusion at the same time, because they're still kind of like moving around all these items that you're learning. They're still like finding their spot. They still want to ground into your brain. And that's why you should have 2 separate notebooks where you put all your information in. And also think about 2 different places where you could learn your 2 different languages. Usually I learn Russian here in my little living room in Medellin, and I learn my Portuguese classes over there in my bedroom. So that can really help you to separate the 2 kind of like linguistic identities within your brain, and really helping creating 2 different dimensions in your brain. Yeah. So tip number 4. If you are learning 2 languages at the same time, one is a more intermediate level and the other one is a beginner's level, what you could do is really translating between both languages. So that's really bringing them together in a way, right? So for example, in my notebook, I write down Russian words with a Portuguese translation, yeah? Because like the beginner's Russian words are kind of simple, right? Like korotki, malenki, like yeah, things like small, big, beautiful, and stuff like that. And usually you already know this. Well, I hope you already know this in your intermediate language, right? Like tip number 4 is really about finding a common ground between 2 languages. Maybe one language can help you understand the other language better, right? And tip number 5 is what I'm doing myself, and that's really applying very effective memorization techniques that will supercharge your memory abilities and that will help you really remember the words you're learning, remember the grammar you're learning, remember the verb conjugations if your language has verb conjugations, to really help you settle down on all the information into your brain. What kind of techniques am I talking about? Keyword technique, loci technique, acrostics, acronyms, spaced repetition techniques. And there are a lot of applications out there that can help you apply these techniques so you can learn your new languages faster. Under this video, in the description, I put down a link where you can go to my memory masterclass and can actually have access to all these amazing techniques. I'm going to explain each and every technique to you so you can supercharge your memory abilities for learning a new language and for learning specifically multiple languages at the same time. Thank you very much. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope to see you on fluentforlife.com or maybe in class. Thank you so much.